Our next guest is with Project Unity, and it's an organization that really bridges the gap between the local communities and the police department, and talk about what Project Unity does and how you get involved. Is Rob Crain. Welcome to the show.
You bet. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on. Let's explain to our listeners all about Project Unity.
Well, Project Unity started back around 2014-15 when the shootings in Ferguson and other cities really started to catch the media attention with police interaction with typically minorities, African Americans, and the issues of race and discussions about race were really kind of at a standstill. And Pastor Richie Butler, who's a business leader here in town and also pastor of St. Paul United Methodist Church, started it up with an event called Together We Ball, which is a basketball event that is between police and local community leaders, primarily in the African-American community, and local pastors and really community leaders all around. I'm a white middle-aged guy, and they put me in there and just to show off how bad white middle-aged guys play basketball.
Well, if you need someone to join your team, trust me, I might be the captain of that white middle-aged unathletic person right there. But let's tell them but the purpose of all of this is to get the relationship, get the trust established, right?
Yeah, the purpose of all of this is to kind of get back to basics. What's happened is we got a lot of loud voices on cable network news and a lot of loud voices on social media, and they seem to drown everybody else's voices out. And quite frankly, it makes a lot of people scared to talk about race and talk about it in some kind of productive setting. And so what the signature event of what's transpired here is Together We Dine. And the purpose of that is for folks to sit down in a safe environment and really listen to each other. They're listening exercises, and the mantra of Together We Dine and Project Unity is that if we listen to each other long enough, that we'll learn that what unites us is greater than what divides us.
Mm-hmm. And so, what's some of the takeaways when you've had these events? When it's all said and done, what is both sides saying that they got out of it?
I'll tell you. Going back to middle-aged white guy for just a second, what you see every single time following one of these opportunities for people to sit down and have a safe conversation is you'll see two major emotions on people's faces. Number one is relief that, hey, I didn't know that I could have this conversation. I can have this conversation. I don't need to be scared about having this conversation. And the second emotion is excitement that, hey, we can take back this conversation. We can take back this conversation from those loud voices on cable news and social media, and we can really bring our communities closer together. The takeaway is that the people who are sitting at this table with me have the shared common values of, I want a better future for my children. I want my neighborhood to be safe. I don't want to be afraid of the police.
Safe neighborhoods? Because one of our guests in the studio, her husband is a police officer, and I'll kind of pull Erica in there just for a little bit.
Just threw me right under that bus.
I did throw you right in the bus. But I mean, are you hearing, Rob, that these neighborhoods, they just want a safe place for their kids to go out and play?
Surely, I think most everybody wants to live in a safe community. And the other thing I was going to say is that they also want their police officers to feel safe. We all have these same core values of wanting this type of environment to live in. We all have different ideas, though, about how to get there. And that's where things, we all think differently. That's the big thing here that we all fail to appreciate is we all come from different parents, different communities, sometimes different countries. We've all had different experiences. So we think differently because of all of those experiences about how to get things done. But what we want to get done is oftentimes what all of us want to have done.
Mm-hmm. Erica, do you want to, your husband's a police officer.
Yeah.
Is that some of his concerns as well?
Yeah, I think he's right. We all want the same things. I have 2 kids of my own. We want good schools. We live out in Rockwall. We want great schools for our kids. But to think systemically, if we couldn't afford to live where we live, I'm forced to live in a neighborhood that may not be so safe. And so then my kids become a product of their environment, not because they don't have great parents, but it's because systemically we don't have enough resources to find a safe place to live. Mm-hmm. And I hate to, bring us to this affordable housing thing, but we've got to make things, it's deeper than just our environment and how we grew up. There's a lot of things systemically that are holding us back and keeping us fearful of each other. I mean, with my husband, there are a lot of police officers out there that are afraid. And I beg that if you are afraid, then that may not be the job for you, because there are a lot of people that get pulled over that are equally afraid. And he's right. We don't know how to speak to each other.
There you go. It's kind of a respect thing in a way.
Yeah, guards down. And also that position of authority. When you are in a position of authority and you have the power to either make someone's life miserable or, how are you going to use that? So we have to trust you with the power that you have to make great choices and to make decisions that won't just make you feel good because you're a figure of authority, but talk about community policing. It's not about handing out candy to kids in the park or going out playing basketball. Yes, all those things are great when you are in position of authority. But what about the mom who has tickets that she can't afford, but she's still having to drive that car without insurance to go to work, to bring her kids to school? Is it really going to help her to give her another ticket? Let's think about other ways that we can help pull those people out of the situations that they're in. To me, that's the definition of community policing.
There you go. What's your thoughts on that, Rob?
No, you're absolutely right. I mean, we're all in this together, and what we've got is we've got a lot of dividing lines, and some of those are very prominent. Some of those are in a river south of downtown. Some of those are city boundaries and so forth. And what happens, though, when we start with these basic conversations, though, of listening to one another and getting some relationships built, then we feel empowered to start tackling bigger issues and start tackling the systemic issues of poverty and homelessness and the segregation that we have throughout this city from those with and those without. Mm-hmm. And so it's got to start somewhere, and it seems so daunting. And the great news is the answer is as simple as let's sit down and talk about things over a box lunch.
I love it.
And it starts there.
It does start there. Rob Crain is our guest. Project Unity is the organization. Rob, how can someone get involved? Either, I don't know if it's financially or donating time or just coming up with ideas or just sitting in on one of these dining events.
Real simple. Google Project Unity. The website's actually yearofunity.com.
Okay.
And there's a contact button. Just hit it, and we will invite you to the next event. They're free, and you get a lunch out of the deal or dinner out of the deal. And granted, it's nothing other than a box sandwich and cookie and so forth. But it's an easy way to get involved. And once you experience it, you're going to want to take it back to your place of work or take it back to your church or to your faith community, whatever it may be, and slowly but surely we'll continue to have these conversations, and this ripple effect will start making a difference. It's amazing what's already happened in a short amount of time.
Yeah. Well, Rob, if you ever need to add a player to your middle-aged white guy on your basketball team, let me be the point guard on something like that. I'd be more than happy to throw up some air balls for you.
Well, if the object is to have fun and not to win, you and I are in a good spot.
I love it. Rob, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it. And that website, once again, for our listeners.
yearofunity.com.
There you go, yearofunity.com. Rob Crain, thanks, my friend.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you.